Paul lost his freedom a week since coming to Jerusalem. The commander who arrested Paul felt threatened, so he sent Paul to Caesarea. The 40-some people who hated Paul swore to not eat nor drink until Paul was dead. Wanting Paul to be persecuted even more, they reported Paul to Antonio Felix, the Roman governor of Judea. Paul's like a disease. He caused riots and rebelled against Emperor Caesar. He breached the laws of Judea and disgraced the temple. They accused Paul in the similar ways Jesus was accused, for being the king of the Jews, for breaking the law, and for disgracing the temple. After hearing about the accusations against Paul, Governor Felix demanded Paul to dispute. So Paul began to dispute all the accusations against him. He explained that he had remained in Jerusalem for too short of a period to cause a stir. He said that he never broke the law but abode by it, and that he is mistaken about disgracing the temple. After hearing from Paul, Governor Felix knew that Paul had done nothing wrong. However, because he didn't want to upset the Jews, he postponed the ruling and told the guards to keep Paul but give him freedom. Time passed, and Festus became the governor of Judea. Festus wanted to try Paul in Jerusalem in order to gain the hearts of his people. But Paul asked to be tried not in Jerusalem, but by the Roman emperor, and that's how Paul's next journey began. The Bible doesn't tell us what Paul says when he meets the Roman emperor later on, but seeing how Paul spoke to Festus, the governor of Judea, and Agrippa, the king of Judea, we can imagine how Paul's confrontation with the Roman emperor went. Agrippa, the king of Judea, told Festus that he wanted to meet Paul. Paul told Agrippa and Festus how a Jew like him came to believe in Jesus and what Jesus told him in detail. And listening to all this, Festus exclaimed in a loud voice, "You're out of your mind, Paul! Too much study is driving you mad!" But Paul continued to spread the good news. He said, "I at first couldn't believe how the dead could resurrect. But Jesus rose again and he spoke to me." Then Agrippa asked Paul, "Do you think that in such a short time you can persuade me to be a Christian?" Paul replied to the two people boldly, "Short time or long, I pray to God that not only you, but all who are listening to me today may become what I am, except for these chains." Like this, the king and governor of Judea interrogated Paul for their own curiosities and political agenda. But Paul spread the good news with his steadfast faith. Eventually, Paul ended up taking a long journey to be tried by the Roman emperor. But one thing we know for sure is that Paul would have thought of himself not as a prisoner, but as a messenger of good news. So to Paul, who spread the gospel, God took away his fears and gave him courage.